Okay, well, I'm standing in front of the hood of my car here at Jim's Automotive with owner Jim Maddox, and today he's going to help us understand how to best care for our car, especially during the summer months when there's a lot of us out there that just want to know the best tips to maintain the best possible care for the cars that we love so much. I love my car, Jim.
It's a nice car to keep care of.
You need to help me take good care of it.
Yes.
So tell me what we're going to do today.
We're going to do a trip check.
Okay,
Getting you ready
check?
for a summer vacation. You need to take off with the kids with the weekend. We're going to be able to look at that.
I love it.
You can do it yourself.
So really, we'll be able to do this ourselves. If we can't come to you, we at least know the right rules.
Yes.
And the safe way to do it.
Yes.
That's my biggest concern, is being able to do it safely. Let's get to it then.
All right.
Get under the hood. Okay, wait, Jim. Let's start with step one, because this may sound really, really silly to you, but I always have a problem opening the hood. So let me understand what is the key, because look, this is what I do, and I can't get it open. So I know there's a trick. You guys all have this trick. What's the trick? There's
a safety catch, and the safety catch's design is to keep the hood from flying up if the handle on the inside got opened by accident.
That's why it's there? Okay.
So there's a latch mechanism, and there's always a safety, and that safety has got to be pushed, and it's right here underneath that emblem.
Okay, and that's pretty much with any car?
Every car has got a safety mechanism.
Okay.
And that's what you're pushing, is that little guy right there.
Got it. Okay.
And it's just a little hook.
That's easy
Once
enough.
you pop the hood loose from the inside, then you come out here and you move the safety and open the hood.
And then I guess this is that thing
There's
that
a
holds
prop
it up.
rod, and there's always a place underneath the hood for the prop rod to go.
The prop rod, that's what it's actually called.
The prop rod, yes.
See, I'm learning so much.
Hood stay, prop rod.
Okay.
Yours has a little arrow pointing right here. So there's the hole for the prop rod to go in.
Perfect. Okay, so I had to say step one, because, you know, if you're going to get in the hood, you at least have to open it.
Yeah, got to get in there first.
Okay, so now let's talk about how we begin to check what we're checking for and how to go about it.
Okay, on your car, it's very easy because we've got yellow markings on all the fluids that are able for you to check.
Oh, okay.
Engine oil, the dipstick back here.
That's the dipstick, okay.
Yes. This is antifreeze. It has a little picture right here, a little icon of a radiator.
Right.
Over here we have a picture of the windshield washer.
Okay.
So this is windshield washer fluid.
Got it.
And that is brake fluid. Brake
That's
fluid
the brake
for your
fluid.
brakes, yes.
Okay, now if you know, a lot of times I also wonder about especially in the summer when it's so hot, I don't want my car to overheat. Do I have to check the coolant as well?
Coolant is antifreeze.
Okay, so that's all in there. Got it.
That is one part that is or can be dangerous, and that is the radiator cap itself, which is right here. It is not colored yellow.
Okay.
If you were to remove this while it's hot, and it's too hot to actually touch right now, but if you were to remove this while it's hot, hot antifreeze would spew all over you. So you don't ever want to open up the radiator when it's hot.
That's a great safety tip.
But
okay.
The reservoir, the expansion tank, which is built into this large plastic area up here, that can be checked at any point in time. Theoretically, if there's antifreeze in here, we've got coolant in the radiator and you're good to go.
Good to go. Now let me ask you this. Everybody's car is going to be different. If they don't have the yellow, is every car color-coded in some way or another?
Most car manufacturers after 2000 are starting to come up with blues, reds, yellows, something that's eye-catching for you to be able to see right off the bat.
Okay. So now if I wanted to check and see if I had enough oil, what's the process?
The dipstick is back here.
Right.
You pull the dipstick out.
Okay.
On the dipstick, this one is a little bit light, but you can see the serrated marks right here.
Yes.
It says add down here. And that one is full. So we want to clean the dipstick off.
Okay.
Put it back down inside the oil tube.
Okay.
Slide it all the way down in. And you want to do this after the engine has been parked and sitting for a few minutes.
Okay.
You can see there's the full mark, and you're just a tiny bit below.
Okay.
Anywhere inside that hash mark is good to go.
It is. Okay, so good. So we got the oil, we got our antifreeze. Now our windshield wiper fluid. Haven't needed a lot of that, Jim, around New Mexico lately, I'll be honest with you. I wish we did need it.
Windshield washer solvent, that's what it's called, needs to be freeze protected, and it also has a soap in it that helps to dissolve the bugs that get on your windshield, the grime. So there's actually soap in here, but it is toxic.
Okay.
Very often they put an alcohol in it and to keep it from freezing. So if you put regular water in it, that's okay for the summertime, it'll work.
Okay.
But in the wintertime, if this bottle should freeze, this bottle is part of this bottle, which could be very expensive. So you really want to put windshield washer solvent.
Definitely.
There's two reasons. One is to clean the bugs and the debris,
yes,
the soap that's in it, but the other one is to keep it from freezing.
Very good point.
A weird freeze point.
I would never have even thought of that. So now let's say I'm on my own and I realize that this is low, then I would just have to buy.
Yes, and you can buy windshield washer solvent at almost any large box store, any large store.
And most gas stations,
some grocery stores, gas stations, any of the auto parts stores.
Great.
It comes in a pre-mixed 1-gallon container. Just read it and make sure that it's good for the area that you live in. Here in New Mexico, minus 20 is usually good. If you go up into the mountains skiing in the wintertime, you might want to have a little higher than that, but...
Okay, so minus 20 is kind of where we want to look at.
Yes.
Okay, and then of course our brake fluid.
Brake fluid.
How do we gauge when we need it or don't?
The nice thing about the clear reservoirs is that you can see through them, and you can actually see where your fluid levels are. Like this windshield washer antifreeze, we can see that it's clear up here at the top. That's great. Same thing with the brake fluid. The yellow color is the actual brake fluid, and over on this side, it says minimum and maximum. Maximum is the maximum. Don't put any more in that. We need some expansion room, but minimum is a problem. And brake fluid does, it doesn't deteriorate or wear out, but it does get lower in the reservoir as your brakes wear down. So it does need to be topped up periodically.
Good to know.
And I said it doesn't wear out. It actually does. It absorbs moisture out of the air. So periodically you might be told by your mechanic that it needs to be flushed. You need to get the old brake fluid out and new brake fluid in it. That's actually true. It's because it absorbs moisture out of the air, what little we have here in the desert Southwest.
Sure. Well, that's good. See, I mean, and these are things that if you're on your own and you just feel like something is just not right and you want to check under the hood and see, these would be your first steps to look at these places and say, okay, that was the problem. Okay.
A flashlight is very helpful, as you just saw. You can light things up. You can see the antifreeze level. Same thing with the antifreeze. You've got a minimum and a maximum. So just look around and you'll see those words.
Great start. It's a great start.
Number one failure for road travelers is usually belts and hoses.
Okay.
The hoses last a long time these days. We can get 100,000 miles out of a hose for the cooling system, but when they rupture, that's what puts cars on the side of the road. The antifreeze being low, you've got a leak someplace and it leaked out. Water pump, hoses, maybe the radiator itself. So if you've lost antifreeze, there's a reason for it.
Okay.
Overheating is usually something that you can't fix yourself. You're going to need some help, especially in today's modern engines where there's so much plastic.
And that's where you come in handy. Thank goodness.
Yes.
Well, that's good. That's really good to know, because I think that's a major concern for people, especially in the desert Southwest, where we're dealing with such dry conditions and so much heat right now.
Yes.
So this is good. This is a good start.
The next thing to look at are fan belts. Yesteryear they were called fan belts. Today they're called serpentine belts. And the reason they call them serpentine belts, if you look down in here, that belt goes around a lot of different pulleys, but it's the same belt. It's 6 feet long, but it goes everywhere. You can see some ridges down in there, and if those ridges don't have any cracks in them, you're good to go. If you find a bunch of cracks on the inside of the belt, it probably ought to be changed.
So that's your determining factor, is the cracks in the belt.
Cracks.
Wow, this is such good information. Jim, thank you so much. I feel much more educated under the hood now.
Yep.
I appreciate that.
That's most of the stuff that's underneath the hood. The air filter is a gas mileage problem, and it's usually located someplace inside this housing.
Okay.
Air filters, here in our dusty environment, they get filled full of dirt and debris, bugs, leaves.
Yes.
And as they plug up, the gas mileage can go down. So before you head off on a trip, you're going to want to check the air filter.
Okay.
Some of them are complicated and hard to get into. On yours, it's very easy. There's just a couple clips. We unclip this.
And that's it.
And there may be another one. And this just peels back.
Oh my gosh.
And this is your air filter.
Wow, that's so much simpler than I would have imagined it was. And it looks pretty clean, right?
This is not too bad. The real test, and if you don't mind me getting a little dusty here,
no, go ahead.
is you just knock it out. And you can see some dust came out of it, but it's not too bad. That's pretty clean. Again, the handy flashlight comes in.
Okay.
And you shine it up through the core.
Wow.
And if you can see a lot of light through it, your air filter is good to go. Go knock it out on the pavement gently, get rid of the majority of the big pieces of dust, and put it back in.
Well, that's great information. And can you please help me tell our viewers where they can find you? Because we want to make sure that when they're in need and they can't do it themselves, they go to just the right person, and that, of course, is you.
Jim's Automotive is located on the corner of Washington and Lead. That's in the Nob Hill area. We've been here for about 30 years. Not quite, but almost.
30 years, that's incredible.
Long time. So
I'm very proud. It's nice to hear that, you know, the neighborhood place is still in business and still thriving, and you certainly deserve it. Thank you for the tips.
Well, you're welcome.
The Santa Fe Winter Fiesta is happening now, with winter festivities continuing through this Sunday the 5th, including great room rates at Santa Fe's premium hotels, discounts at restaurants, discounts on the ski mountain, and the Winter Brew Fest. Tonight, it's El Faro Salsa Competition featuring Nosotros. Doors open at 7 p.m., and you can visit SantaFe.com for all your Winter Fiesta information. Santa Fe Winter Fiesta, it's an adventure up here.